What if one night of dancing could change your life? That's what happened to Paulina. Let's go inside MP Dance Studios and see what Paula does to make Naperville stay alive dancing. Hello, Paulina.
Hi, Dan.
How are you today?
Welcome to the studio. Let's go take a seat.
Absolutely, thank you. Paulina, let's start from the beginning. I heard you were born here in the United States, and then you went to Poland for a little bit, and then you came back. Can you help me out with that a little bit?
Yes, so I was born here, and then my grandpa got sick, so my parents moved to Poland. So I grew up in Poland, and then me and my sisters moved back to get American education. My parents wanted us to finish school here.
So how long were you back in Poland for?
Since I was 2 years old until I was 17.
17, so a little bit of time, and then I'm sure you couldn't wait to get back to the United States.
Oh, no, not really.
Not really?
I had a really hard time adjusting to the new culture, and yeah.
What made it a little bit easier? I mean, I guess I should say, what was your biggest challenge?
The language, the cultural shock. I feel like in Europe, the community is different. And in America, it was more fast-paced, individualistic. So yeah, my sister had an easier time adjusting than me.
Yeah, here in the US?
I was crying and depressed for a long time.
But we're happy now?
Happy now.
So,
happy now.
Okay, so Paulina, I heard you were interested in the medical field. Previous to dance. Tell me a little bit about that.
When we moved, I was at the University in Illinois studying neuroscience.
Wow.
I absolutely fell in love with the study of the brain and the nervous system and how it impacts human behavior. And I wanted to be a neurosurgeon. So I got accepted into medical school. I was extremely depressed and unhappy.
Okay. How many years did you go to school for that?
So I finished my bachelor's for neuroscience, and then I did maybe 6 months of semester in medical school, and that's when a lot of health issues started coming in from stress and anxiety, and that's how I started. That's how I discovered dance. So one of my girlfriends invited me to a salsa dance class, and that's the first time I was socially dancing, and I absolutely fell in love with it. I loved it because I got connected to a community. I started practicing the steps in my free time. I started skipping classes because I just wanted to dance and learn more and have more of that feeling of freedom and joy that I got when I was dancing.
So tell me, how did you go from chubby with no hair to where you are today, beautiful, and the owner of MP Dance, and knowing how to take care of dancers?
That's a great question.
Okay.
Actually, what dancing did for me, it made me fall in love with myself.
Okay,
so during dance, you pay attention to each part of your body, your feet, your arms, your legs, your hands. So you start paying more attention to it, and then you start appreciating your body for what it is, and you start discovering it from a different perspective rather than, an instrument that's meant to get you from point A to point B. You actually appreciate the beauty and the senses that you have.
That totally makes sense.
So,
and when you appreciate it, you're going to take better care of it. That just kind of comes hand in hand.
Absolutely. Right? And with this feeling of love and gratitude, my body just automatically started to transform. So before, I would try all sorts of diets. I would get myself to the gym every morning. I would basically put so much stress into my body, and I was very critical of my body. But I think through dance, it was a different approach.
Okay.
And just without even thinking about it, I lost the weight. I started
with all that exercise and dancing, of course, right?
Right, but
naturally, in a good, fun way.
Basically, I became obsessed with dance. All of my free time, I would practice and train, and that's all I wanted to do, is to dance. I was really good with people. I had really good social skills, so I got hired by a dance studio as a teacher. I ended up finding a professional dance partner, and 6 months later, we became a professional dance couple.
That quick, in 6 months?
Right.
So you must have a little bit of talent, a little bit of dance in that step. What brought you from competing to being an instructor? Because that's a huge step, I would think. How long, tell us that timeline. How did that look?
So I got hired by a studio as a teacher, and at that studio I found a dance partner. So it was simultaneously, I was learning how to dance while teaching, while training to be a professional dancer and compete. During COVID, what happened is we started getting a lot of clients of our own, and we left the other studio. And then we got so many clients to the point that we needed to get a space. The studio's been open for 3 years, and we just last year in November we won the Top Studio Award.
Okay.
And that's the competition is owned by a world champion, Katusha Deminova, in ballroom dancing. So that was a big accomplishment for us. We have top teachers. I mean, there's a couple in the studio. They're 30th in the world in ballroom dancing.
Really?
They're here on a work visa from Poland.
Okay, I love hearing that.
And a lot of students, because of the prestige of the level of the teachers, the students also won a lot of United States National Dance Sport Awards.
Paulina, outside of the dance world, what does Paulina like to do for fun?
I absolutely love horseback jumping. So
what? Horseback jumping?
Horseback jumping, equestrian.
Tell me more.
Yes,
Okay.
I have a horse. His name is Maverick, and he's 7 years old now. So last year, he's at a barn. He's being taken care of.
I'd love to meet him someday.
Absolutely, yeah. So I go to the barn 4 to 5 times a week before work just to get my mind off of things, and that's my therapy for the day.
Okay.
And we train and we compete, and hopefully this season will be our best one yet.
So Ola, tell me, how has dance changed your life?
It's changed my life tremendously. So first of all, it's helped me lose weight, getting into better shape, which is not unusual.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yes, nothing wrong with that, and I think a lot of people, or majority of people who start dancing, experience that, which is great.
Yeah.
I think the most profound change was with my mental, emotional, mental health. The way I see things is, I feel like I'm more. Since I've been dancing, I'm more mature in my mind, in my emotions. It really helped me regulate everything, the training.
That's wonderful.
So because it's not only, it's not only physical activity, it's really a mental activity, especially the partner dancing with the partner, because can you imagine, we exchange energies, in dancing, in practice. So it's a fantastic way to train, not only the body, but also the mind and emotions.
And now we're gonna do a waltz. All right, beautiful. Forward with the left side. Now you're gonna go back. We're gonna rotate, elbows up. Perfect, perfect. And we're gonna do a little bigger steps. Now you're gonna keep the steps, and I'm gonna turn. So keep doing the box, back, side, together, forward. Excellent, you've done this before, haven't you? You're doing so good. I did not expect this, actually. That was really good. So in salsa, your feet are together, and you're gonna go forward with the left, and then back to, now back with the right. Back and repeat. Forward with the left, back, very nice. Again, forward with the left. Keep the steps, and I'm gonna turn. So you're gonna go, ready, one more time, and ready? Forward with the left, back with the right. Forward with the left, back with the right. Repeat, forward, very good. You're doing great, Dan. One more time. Forward with the left, back, awesome jump. Hey, this is really good. Great job.
Thank you for teaching me those dance moves. I appreciate that. And tell me, what is your passion here, owning the studio and teaching classes?
I think my favorite part about teaching and being owner of the studio is that I get to see how people's lives transform through dance.
Yeah.
So I've had so many men come in here and they're intimidated to talk to women. They can't deal with being rejected, or they just have very low self-confidence and self-esteem.
Yeah.
And then months later, you see those guys going out and having all these women lined up to dance with them. And the person that walked in through the door and that, walked out is just a completely different person. And I think the joy,
self-confidence,
the joy, the gratitude you feel is priceless. You can't put a price on it. And another thing was a lot of women coming in here. It helps them get in touch with their feminine side and, you know, feel feminine and beautiful and appreciate their bodies, just like they did with me. So just seeing those changes in all the students, I think that's why we're here. Another thing, I've had Gilbert. You got to meet him.
Amazing gentleman.
When he started, his wife passed away, so he was 30 pounds overweight. He didn't see, you know, future for himself, and then he just started dancing. He lost 30 pounds. Wow. He found a girlfriend.
Great exercise.
And now he's one of the top competitive dancers in his age group. He's 82, and his doctors say that they haven't seen anybody with this brain capacity and physical activity that he has. So that's
wonderful.
That's beautiful.
So as we age, it's all about keeping active and knowing the dance. Gilbert, tell me a little bit more about what happened before you came to dance.
I had a lady friend that I got to know pretty well, and she was an ex-dancer.
Okay.
And because she had her own jewelry business.
Jewelry business,
business. So she was quite busy. And she wanted to try to introduce me to dancing, and I had never danced in my life. We had, I think, one dance, and then she got busy, and I had signed up for like 5 dances or something like that. So I says, all right, well, I'll just carry it out. And I got Paulina as my instructor.
So you've been here 6 years. Obviously, you're loving it. Paulina's amazing. What's your favorite dance? Do you have one?
Waltz, tango, foxtrot. 3 of them.
Those are your top 3, the waltz, tango, foxtrot. So how has dance impacted your life, Gilbert?
Well, it impacted my life in such a way as to always be looking forward to it. I dance with Paulina 3 times a week. I was in my 70s, and now I'm 82, coming up on 82.
Okay.
And I am very kept alive, so to speak.
That's a great way of
I've got
being
something
alive.
to look forward to.
Yeah. Thank you very much for having us, and we'll see you next episode of Living in Naperville. Be sure to like and subscribe to get updates on our next episode. And for all your real estate needs, please visit naperville.com.